What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction with your host, the ignorant eclectic mad genius, man. Today we are checking Poetic Flacco, man. So I guess now there's a reason why I really wasn't touching any of the what's it called? The David stuff. Just because one, I didn't really want it on my timeline. That to me, everything is sad. But honestly, it was information that I got that people had posted or whatever, that it seemed like he was going to get away, and I pray that he doesn't get away. I really hope he doesn't get away. Other than that, man, Poetic Flacco has some updates or whatever, so I'm gonna check it out on his channel. Hit that like, hit that sub, tell a friend to tell a friend, man. Yo, shout out to Flacco.
God, this sick piece of shit, David, is one of the most evil human beings to ever live. He's right up there with Ted Bundy.
Oh
And I'm being
shit.
serious, man. These new updates, man. If you got a weak stomach, this video ain't for you, man. Prosecutors finally released transcripts or quotes from David and Celeste's final
Oh wow.
conversation before he murdered her. And what we know is bro was two-timing minors. Bro was Hugh Hefner of the playground. What's evident by the message
Hugh Hefner of the playground, brother.
just was Celeste, who's a really smart girl, was starting to lose respect for David. She was starting to realize who he really was and what she got herself into. Even when she says, all we do is have intercourse and just hang out, man, I want more than that for myself. That was coming from a
Oh,
14-year-old
she's.
girl.
Oh
And
man.
she was writing him this after discovering that he was also dealing with other women and other minors. For all it's worth, I'm really proud of Celeste that
How
she was
many
at least able to
minors?
see who this dude really is towards the end of her life. She was starting to realize who she was dealing with and how much of a monster he is. This dude was making a 14-year-old stuff playing bees down her throat. The messages confirmed that David and
What?
Celeste was at least having pregnancy scares, or at least the thought of pregnancy scares, which is why they was talking about playing bees and other things. Now, we've seen the Discord messages where David would write that him and Celeste was having a baby. So we all thought she was pregnant when she passed away, and that may have been a motive, but apparently she was not pregnant. But there were pregnancy scares at some point. Even after her death, this sicko still kept pictures that she sent him, explicit pictures, if you get my drift, in his phone. So even in her death, he was still victimizing her. Now, we know for a fact that prosecutors are in connection or in
That's
cooperation with other victims of David. One victim in particular have came forward in different forums in Reddit, and the mods have confirmed that she is in cooperation with the police. Victim 3 actually took to Reddit, and the mods were able to confirm that this is victim 3. Now, she wrote, "This is victim 3. For those saying that I did not go to the authorities, that's the first thing I did. Like, are you guys serious? Obviously, I went to the authorities. I'm involved in this. Your comments are insensitive and rude. I went through so much, so you guys need to calm down." So this is also another little girl who's claiming that she endured a lot
oh
at the hands of
wow.
David, right? That what happened with Celeste is just the tip of the iceberg, that she also endured a lot at the hands of this dude. And she wrote, yeah, I went through so much, so you guys need to calm down and realize the victims went through so much. I know there are other girls out there like me. I had a strong relationship with David, and all the news that came out brought everything horrible back for me. And I want to be able to live my life without only being with a David case, being tied to a David case. I am doing everything I possibly can to help this case. This is exactly why I haven't come to show my face to the media, because you are all like this. Be kind to those who are suffering through this. I have done everything possible. David is not a good person, and I am lucky to be here. That's all. Thanks. A lot of
Mm.
people care and are passionate about this, and it's easy to kind of get carried away if that's even possible, right? But I do believe, regardless of your opinion on why these victims ain't come forward sooner, or why these victims
Bro, what is that stuff called? Stockholm syndrome or something like that? But basically, I'm I, from the little bit that I know, David was making these girls feel seen and things of that nature. So they probably had trust and faith in him. And then also, if he was to go, they would have nobody. So they would only want to probably they want his affection or some shit like that. I don't know. That oh my god, but bro, Celeste was 14?
are speaking up now and how complicit I think those questions should be saved for later. I think right now we should be as supportive to this person, to this victim, and hoping and push them to cooperate to their best of their ability with the prosecutors and with the police.
Yeah, bro.
Because the last thing we need is David going to court and the prosecutors don't have any, like witnesses, like we scared off everybody, the prosecutors, and then David gets off. That's the last thing we need, bruh. David getting off. But if the prosecutors can drag about 5 or 6 of these victims into court and have them testify, man, it's cooked, bro. It's wraps for David, man. Now, we got a clearer picture on exactly what took place the night that Celeste passed away. And everything was played out through the messages. Now, one thing is clear, though. This was premeditated, and David was going above and beyond to clean his tracks. We know they officially broke up November of 2024. David broke up with Celeste November of 2024. However, he continued to talk to her. He continued to victimize her and do inappropriate things with her, right? He continued to lead her on, making her think this was leading somewhere. And eventually she got sick and tired of it. Now, we found out in our last update that Celeste threatened David, but we didn't know to the extent that she threatened David. In the court documents, they write, the messages reveals the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationship with other women, as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. The brief reads, Revis, which is Celeste, became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with David to end his career and destroy his life. So she said explicitly, I will end your career and I will destroy your life. I will tell everybody what you did to me. And apparently this was David's motivation. But this is what happened. So she sent him this. And apparently after she sent him this was something that took place almost very quickly. David told her, hey, come and see me. I will send you an Uber. So he sent an Uber to pick her up from Lake Elsinore on April 23rd, 2025.
Don't tell me he probably set it up to where she goes there, he takes her out, and then tries to make an alibi or something.
The night she was allegedly murdered. Now, this is where you're about to see David.
Because if he, my bad, I know I'm even if he did that, you still have the tracking system from her phone. You still have the tracking system from the Uber. You still have the tracking system from the Uber driver. Yeah. So yeah, he really thought he was gonna get away with that.
Premeditate this and go out of his way to clean his tracks. Celeste hopped in the Uber that David sent and arrived at David's house at 10 p.m. Now, Lake Elsinore is about an hour away from LA, from Beverly Hills. So she probably hopped in the Uber at about, 9 p.m., maybe 8:45, 8:50-ish, right? A little over an hour or so. And she got there at 10:10. But what's interesting, and where you're about to see how gory, how foul, how vile this is, she got there at 10:10 p.m. By 10:30, David was texting her, hey, where are you? Hey, where are you? Are you still coming? Wow. Obviously, that was an alibi. He was texting her at 10:30, hey, where are you? As an alibi that she never got here, right? Or that he never met her. But obviously, the Uber driver would then testify, I dropped her off at 10:10 p.m. The Uber app can testify where the Uber driver dropped her off at. So the Uber pin will say, she got dropped off at his house at 10:10 p.m. Right. But he was texting her about 10:30, where you at, where you at? What that shows is he murdered her fairly quickly. As soon as she got to his home at 10:10 p.m., within those 20 minutes, she was already dead. That means as soon as she walked in, he was already getting a stab in her, watching her bleed out, watching her die. So he murdered her within 20 minutes. This was premeditated. This was something that was probably on his mind all day. He probably already had it lined up, probably already had the cameras turned off, the Tesla camera turned off, everything turned off. And he murdered her within 20 minutes of her being there. And I say within 20 minutes because it was probably way quicker. Because if he's already texting her at 10:30, where you at? Where you at? I can't see you, where you at? Then that means that she was probably dead long before then, right? Because you're not stabbing somebody and killing them while at the same time texting them. David left his home at 11:30 p.m. and texted and called Celeste asking where she was again. Now, obviously, right, this was a plan to set up
Employed.
his defense.
Yeah.
This was a plan to do alibi, but obviously it didn't work because, sir, like, her pin got dropped off at your house. We now know the significance of the Santa Barbara trip. So the night of, he went to Santa Barbara and disclosed of her items, like, got rid of her phone, got rid of her passport ID, got rid of a lot of things. Now, obviously, we know that Celeste's passport was discovered on the highway, but that's why he drove to Santa Barbara, right? To discard of all of her things. He returned the following morning and did a radio interview, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if we find out
He's done
that David
multiple times.
100% have done this before to other victims. He 100% have murdered before, bruh. Because who exactly do you know is able to do something this vicious to somebody he supposedly cared for deeply and will be able to wake up and go do a radio interview and act like everything is normal? Excuse me? You were able to sit and talk to people with this in your home and this on your mind? This is sickening, right? So when he got back from the interview, he apparently ordered a shovel from Home Depot, which was delivered by Postmates on April 24th, 2025, and 2 chainsaws, a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool, which were delivered by Amazon in early May, the following claims. He bought the shovel after murdering her because I feel like he was trying to bury the body. He was probably planning on, I don't know, driving to Santa Barbara somewhere there and burn the body. And then he thought, nah, burning it would probably be too hot. So then when he bought the heavy-duty pool to contain the blood, he bought the chainsaw, he bought the inflatable body bag, among other things. This was when he then says, you know what, I'm about to get rid of this body. And he bought this in early May. So she was murdered April 23rd. He bought the shovel thinking he could bury the body, thinking, man, nah, I can't do that. And then early May, which now makes the prosecutors and their timeline make a little bit more sense, because he bought the stuff to dismember her body in early May. The prosecutor's initial timeline was he murdered her April 23rd, and by May 5th, she was dismembered. That makes sense because they're just going by the timeline in which he bought the items. Now, the reason why prosecutors were able to tie this back to David was because, like, they found pieces of the pool, like the blue material and the blue plastic. They found pieces in Celeste. He put her body in the inflatable pool. He dismembered the body with the chainsaw, and the microplastics from the pool was consistent and matched up what David bought. Bro, you going to jail. At first I thought, hey, man, prosecutors, why you arresting him so early? Get your ducks in a row, get your case in order. But right now, man, it seems like they got this dude dead and right.
Good.
It couldn't be any more clearer. Now, the one thing, though, that I think is unclear, that I want to see, though, is the Santa Barbara County trip. Because he kept on going back to Santa Barbara County. And wondering why. Was it just to bury things? Was it to get rid of things? Or did he plan on burying her in Santa Barbara? Because he also ordered a burn cage under that fake name called Victoria Mendez that he used for all his other purchases. So, like, the burn cage, I believe, was supposed to burn the body up, but you can't do that indoors, right? You can't, like, open up that burn cage indoors in a residential area. So I think what he was planning to do, he was going back to Santa Barbara County, trying to find certain spots and certain places he could do this at, because you're not doing no burn cage in the middle of your living room. Blood samples that was found in David's garage also matched Celeste's unique genetic profile, the following states. A Caltrans worker also found, Celeste's passport off a highway in Santa Barbara, which we already talked about. Now, they would also say that David amputated one of Celeste's fingers, because that's the finger that she got David name tatted and got a matching tattoo with David. So he apparently got rid of that particular finger or chopped it off or got it amputated because he didn't want for her to be found or discovered and for people to know that he was involved with her, or for officers to see the name and think, oh, wow, okay, let's go talk to him. So this man had this all planned out. He had about a 6-month head start to hide evidence, but it doesn't look like he did too great of a job hiding everything. The Riverside County Sheriff Department has came out and revealed and confirmed something that was just a rumor before today, but they were already investigating David for his inappropriate relationship with Celeste. So when Celeste went missing, people kept pointing to David and how David was involved in her being missing. Now, this was before he murdered her. This was when she was reportedly missing for about a year, and her family never notified the county and the sheriff, hey, she got found. Hey, she's back home, because Celeste was home when David called the Uber for her. So the police was under the assumption that she was still missing, and they were actively investigating this, and they were looking at David specifically. We know this to be a fact because Steve Fisher, who's the private investigator, for the owner of the home that David murdered Celeste in, he contacted Riverside County to get certain information and certain documents, and they told him that, the Freedom of Information Act, like that don't really apply here, because, the information that he's requesting and the documents that he's requesting is a part of an investigation, right? Isn't part of the investigatory files, in this Celeste and David situation, right? Now, Riverside County is incredibly different from LAPD. The one thing that's still a mystery is the co-conspirator. So Steve Fisher, who again is the private investigator, he released this particular video right here. And when he released the video, he will say, now that the prosecution has released a briefing for the preliminary hearing in the David case, we are releasing the surveillance footage of the Tesla being moved on July 29th. The driver is lighter skinned with long hair wearing a red jersey. Now, the reason why this is important, when you say the driver of the Tesla on July 29th is light skinned with,
I don't know if that's so right here. I don't know if if that you can tell that that's a red shirt or something like that. But like you see red, but I don't know because it's like super pixelated, and I don't understand how you can say somebody is light skinned with long hair. I can't see that.
with long hair and wearing a red jersey. Well, Steve Fisher did an interview, and what he said was they were able to positively ID the person who last drove the Tesla and parked it. Well, when you give that description of light skin, long hair, and red jersey, well, this is David's best friend Neo, right? And if he was the last one to drive a Tesla, then he drove a car with a dead body inside. Well, but the prosecutors, in fact, here, you can just watch the video right now. If we pause it right here, I'll be real. If we pause it right here and we zoom in, I still can't tell you, right? I still don't know exactly what, right? Like, I still don't know exactly like what he saw, to be honest. Because look, if we just zoom in, right? Bruh, like you could maybe see, like I could maybe, right? Let's zoom in as much as we can. Let's zoom in as much as we can. I can maybe,
I
don't know.
see.
I don't
You
really
can kind of
see what he's
see
seeing.
right here that red.
But the prosecutors
So,
in their hearing, they stated that David was the last one to drive the vehicle. David was the last one to drive the Tesla or to move the Tesla. But what we know is the Tesla had been parked for a while, right? The Tesla was parked for a while. So I don't know, man. Like Steve Fisher and the police and the prosecutors are given two
different
statements. Steve Fisher believes that he knows the last.
If they give him two different statements, that could work in what's the name's favor.
Last person who drove the Tesla, and he's not stating as David. He's actually stating they're light skinned with long hair and had on a red jersey. That's that's Neo. But the prosecutor is saying David was the last one to drive the Tesla, right? Because when a Tesla was found, David was on tour. So like once that Tesla got parked, they went on tour afterwards. So if it was parked and they went on tour afterwards, then how was David? So I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait and see. But Steve Fisher, to me, this right here is pretty big by Steve Fisher. So if this turns out to not be Neo or not be a light-skinned person with long,
man, yo, I didn't expect a lot of that. But let me know down in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? First and foremost, shout out to Flacco. The link for his video, this original video, will be in the description below. Man, this David situation is just so crazy. Families, please watch over your kids. Literally, man, because there's a lot of sick people out here, man, for real, for real. And also, I know this is like something that he didn't speak about, but honestly, bro, I believe her family was involved with some of this also. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel that they kind of did the R. Kelly thing where families would basically put their daughters or sell their, not sell, okay. For his situation, I feel that that allegedly the family probably had like gave Celeste over to him for a little bit of money because he was a famous artist or some shit like that. And I don't know if that it could be not true. That's something that I read, but it's families, man. Just watch over your kids. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I am Jesus Christ, bro. She was a fucking child. She was a fucking child. Catch you on the next one, man. Catch you on the next transmission, man. Peace. Jesus.